again for scottsaunders.design, and this video is about using ACF side by side with Gutenberg. This is sort of in response to a posting I did earlier about ACF versus Gutenberg and using one or the other. Here we're going to be using both. And we're not going to be doing fancy stuff like we did in that video. This one's just going to be using Gutenberg as a text editor alongside ACF. Okay, so the website I'm going to be mainly talking about is Dieselpunk Industries Pulp Magazine Library. Sorry, I'm from the South and have a tendency to want to say library. Anyway, this is a website I built to host, put whatever on my pulp novels. So one thing you'll notice, I did a lot of stuff to the back end, so it's not going to look like your typical WordPress back end, but we'll see that as we go. All right, so let's have a look. So here, hidden a lot of stuff in the dashboard. What this site consists of are essentially three parts. We have the pulps, which is the individual pulps, the collections, which is a group of pulps, and then that's spit out onto the home page where it's showing the entire collection. So let's go back to the home page. And here we see, like, we'll click our accordion, we'll see the drop down. And so these are the individual pulps that are brought into a collection. The collection is in turn brought into the home page. Now some of these, and I think Captain Future has this, there we have a brief summary about this, about Captain Future. And we see the magazines. And when we click on one of these, what this does, it opens up in a new window, or actually not a new window, but it opens up. And using sort of a flippy book thing where you can go through and read the entire pulp novel. We have your menu over here. Sort of the same thing I did for my other video, but yes, it's still the same framework. And this works really nice. You save this to your iPad, and you can read your pulp novels on your iPad, whatever. Save them out as an iOS device, as an iOS application, and you can read it from the desktop, so you don't have to contend with the Safari menu or anything like that. Okay, so let's have a look at the. Let's go to the back end, and let's start with the pulps. All right, so our first custom post type that we have are pulps. So let's look at that. And the last one I added was Spicy Adventure Stories from December 1942. So if we edit this, we'll see there's the title, there's the thumbnail, and the link, the thumbnail, and the publication date. And we attach it to a category. Now there's no editor here, that's completely hidden because we don't need it. We're just using these three ACF fields and our category. Now if you look over here, I removed the logout button because I kept accidentally hitting that when I would edit stuff when I'm using Gutenberg. So I moved the logout over here so I can do that. So that was because I kept leaving the pages when I didn't want to. Okay, next, so we have a pulp novel. We'll add it to a pulp collection. Now that is over here. We see these are our collections. And this is using, again, let's edit one. Let's look at Captain Future. And we'll select Captain Future because we know that one has a summary on it. Now again, right now we just see the ACF stuff, so let's talk about that first. So what I do when I add a new one of these, and I'll do, so let's go up here, we'll add row, and so we have a year, and then we can go through and we can select the ones we want. And this is using, I don't remember, I think, either relationship or this is using relationship. So this is using the relationship field from advanced custom fields. So delete that, remove, we're not using that. And so we can drag these, change the order, 40 becomes before 41, and we see where I've added all these issues of Captain Future and organize them by year. All right, so we can't see any sort of editor for the text. We can collapse this. Now, how will we edit the text? Well, I added a thing here. There's a JavaScript and CSS attached to the backend that lets me toggle the content editor, and I do that because it takes up less space. So I have more room to do this or this. So that's one feature, and then the logout things there, so we can have that. All right, and here would be using Gutenberg like I normally would, and adding my content here. And I also, part of that CSS and JavaScript that I attached, I also attached a style sheet. So this is adopting the style that I'm using for the front end for the back end. So the back end looks like the same font styles that I'm using. They're spit out onto the home page. So again, let's click over here. Let's toggle our content. Whoops. Toggle our content. Collapse that. And now we just see the collection builder. Okay. So again, this is not something, I don't know if you would want to do this for clients. That works well for me because I'm in, I would do this over and over again. This is a really simplified, stripped down process and works great for me. Okay, so let's do one more thing. Let's go to the, all right, so before I do that, let me say here, we're using a combination of Gutenberg on top, and down here we're using advanced custom fields. All right, so let's go to our pages, and we only have the one page, which is the front page, and let's edit this. Let's see what this looks like. So again, very similar to how we did our categories. I have and this is using object ID, I believe, as a repeater. So I'm going to add magazine, and then we can select which one we want. And this is selecting the category from our pulp collection over here, and we'll put the magazines here. So I'm going to add Captain Future to the bottom real quick. It's my website, I can do what I want. All right, and let's look at the page. When we scroll to the bottom, and we see Captain Future here is now at the bottom. So it's in two places. And we have, and again, this information is being brought in from a page created by our collections custom post type. All right, so let's edit this. And I'm going to scroll to the bottom and remove Captain Future. So again, real quick, we have one instance where we're using, just to recap, no Gutenberg, but ACF, and pulp collections where we're using, let's go back to Captain Future, where we're using Gutenberg and ACF side by side. And finally, the same example, Gutenberg along with ACF. Anyway, this is Scott for ScottSaunders.design. Hope this helps, and email me with any questions. Thanks for watching.